The controversy continues between Baltimore County and ICE. The county isn't turning over undocumented immigrants accused of crimes to federal agents after they've been arrested. The latest case is a convicted sex offender who was released despite ICE requesting he remain jailed. But as Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor explains, the county executive is now placing partial blame on the judge who suspended the offender's entire sentence. Rebecca.
That's right, Kai. This convicted sex offender was sentenced to 6 years, but a judge ruled that none of that time would actually be served behind bars. This has outraged lawmakers, county officials, and ICE. But today I spoke with one legal expert who says there's likely a legal explanation for it. Immigration officials requested he remain detained. Instead, Baltimore County releasing 25-year-old Paul Caleron-Interiano, a convicted child sex offender who ICE says entered the U.S. illegally. The county and ICE sparring over the legality of holding him on a federal detainer.
When we have someone who is on the ICE list, we inform that agency.
They told us after they released him in an email, hey, we've released this person.
But during that dispute, one piece of common ground found.
The sad part is it really comes down to the judges.
We need to have some way to share our concerns with how these rulings are held down.
Following a guilty plea, Judge Jan Alexander issuing a 6-year sentence, all of which was suspended, leading to the unexpected sending of a man accused of molesting a 13-year-old girl back on Baltimore County streets.
I have no tolerance for sex offenders in our community.
Maryland judges have a propensity to suspend a lot of the sentences for these individuals. I couldn't tell you why. I don't know the answer to that.
But according to local attorney Jeremy Eldridge, who has no involvement in the case.
So while it's easy to blame a judge, it's not necessarily accurate.
There's likely a legal explanation.
Sex offenses are one of the hardest cases to be prosecuted within the criminal justice system.
Eldridge explaining, while the mission is always to hold criminals accountable for their actions, prosecutors also have to take the victim's well-being into consideration. Plea deals often avoid the trauma of having a child testify, which is required in criminal cases, forcing them to face their perpetrators in court. Other factors include whether the victim is cooperative, are witnesses available, how strong is the evidence, and has the defendant confessed.
And for that reason, a lot of prosecutors will sit down to negotiate resolutions to get accountability for their victim, even if that doesn't necessarily mean jail time.
The suspended time also hangs over the defendant's head. One wrong move, and they could find themselves serving the full sentence.
Even if it's something small, what we call a technical violation, failing to report, or something more serious like reoffending.
That potential to reoffend, what keeps Maryland ICE Director Matthew Elliston up at night.
And it's heartbreaking to think that someone could have just easily turned someone over in a jail instead of letting them go, and maybe someone didn't get hurt that night because of it.
But even with a court noting, before release, check for detainers. Baltimore County not willing to honor a 48-hour detainer, giving ICE time to take over custody. The county citing guidelines from the Attorney General's office.
There is no legal mechanism to enforce a lack of compliance here. And so in the state of Maryland, where we have the Dignity Not Detention bill that ended ICE detention in the state of Maryland, this is the result.
And because right now ICE only issues detainers for individuals who are accused of committing violent or serious crimes, ICE is requesting that the Attorney General's office adjust its guidelines on honoring those detainers. But I reached out to the Attorney General's office and they said they have no comment on that request.
Well, there are a lot of people who do have comments about this, as you know, Rebecca. So tell us about the two state lawmakers taking part in this debate.
Yeah, that's right, Kai. Two state lawmakers, they're actually reaching out to Johnny Olszewski of the Baltimore County Executive about this. They've sent him 2 letters this week. First, they were asking him questions. Now they're issuing calls for change. Those lawmakers demanding that Olszewski rescind all local sanctuary orders restricting local law enforcement from cooperating with federal immigration officials. Additionally, they're requesting that the county executive issue a new executive order requiring a blanket compliance for all ICE detainers. And that's coming from delegates Kathy Shalega and Ryan Naraki. In response, a spokesperson for Olszewski's office tells me that they will be maintaining their current policy in accordance with the AG's guidelines. Reporting live in Baltimore, Rebecca Pryor, Fox 45 News.
I'm Kai Jackson. Thank you for watching. Here's another video to watch. Also, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel.